Daniel had always believed that trust was the strongest foundation of a marriage. For 12 years, he and his wife Emma had built a comfortable life together. They owned a small house in a quiet neighborhood, shared countless memories, and were raising their 8-year-old daughter, Lily. To everyone around them, they looked like the perfect family. Daniel worked long hours as an engineer, often leaving home before sunrise and returning after dark. He believed every extra hour at work was another investment in his family's future. Emma, meanwhile, managed a small online business from home and spent most of her time caring for Lily. Over the years, life became routine. Their conversations became shorter. Date nights disappeared. Birthdays were celebrated with quick dinners instead of meaningful moments together. Daniel noticed the distance but convinced himself it was just part of married life. Then everything began to change. Emma suddenly became protective of her phone. She smiled at messages she never explained. She started dressing differently, wearing perfume even when she claimed she was only going grocery shopping. At first, Daniel ignored it. "You're overthinking," he told himself, but small details slowly turned into questions. One evening, while cleaning the living room, Daniel found a restaurant receipt from an expensive place they had never visited together. The bill showed dinner for two. He asked Emma about it. "Oh, it was a business meeting," she answered quickly. Daniel nodded, but something didn't feel right. Days later, Emma announced she had joined a weekend fitness class. Every Saturday morning, she left home for nearly 4 hours. Daniel never questioned her, until one Saturday, Lily became sick with a high fever. Daniel tried calling Emma several times. No answer. After almost 3 hours, she finally returned. "I didn't hear my phone," she explained. Daniel wanted to believe her, yet doubt had quietly entered his heart. A few weeks later, Daniel received an anonymous message. It contained only one sentence. "Your wife isn't where she says she is." There was no name, no explanation, just those words. He deleted the message. Still, he couldn't stop thinking about it. The following Saturday, instead of going to work, Daniel quietly followed Emma after she left home. She didn't drive toward the fitness center. Instead, she parked outside a small cafe across town. A man arrived a few minutes later. They hugged. Then they walked inside together. Daniel sat frozen in his car. His hands trembled. His heart refused to accept what his eyes had seen. For nearly an hour he stayed there, hoping there was another explanation. Business partner, old friend, family member, anything. When they finally left the cafe, the man gently held Emma's hand. Daniel felt as though the ground beneath him had disappeared. He drove home in silence. That evening, Emma acted as though nothing had happened. She laughed with Lily. "Cooked dinner?" asked Daniel how his day had been. He answered with one-word replies. Sleep never came that night. For the next several days, Daniel wrestled with his emotions: anger, confusion, disappointment, fear. He wasn't only worried about losing his marriage, he was worried about Lily. Children often become the silent victims when adults make painful decisions. Finally, Daniel decided he needed the truth. Not assumptions, not anonymous messages, the truth. One evening, after Lily had gone to bed, he calmly placed the cafe receipt and a photo he had taken on the table. Emma looked at them. Her face turned pale. She remained silent. Daniel spoke softly. "I deserve honesty." Tears filled Emma's eyes. After several long moments, she admitted that she had developed feelings for someone she met months earlier while expanding her business. She insisted the relationship had started emotionally before becoming romantic. She confessed she had hidden it because she was afraid. Afraid of hurting Daniel, afraid of losing her family, afraid of admitting how disconnected their marriage had become. Daniel listened quietly. Every word hurt. But shouting would not change what had already happened. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. Finally, Daniel asked one question: "Do you want to save this marriage?" Emma couldn't answer immediately. That silence told Daniel everything. The following weeks became some of the hardest of their lives. They agreed to separate temporarily while focusing on keeping life as stable as possible for Lily. Neither of them wanted their daughter to feel caught between two parents. They attended counseling not because they were certain they would stay together, but because they wanted to communicate respectfully and make thoughtful decisions. During those sessions, difficult truths surfaced. Daniel admitted he had buried himself in work and assumed providing financially was enough. Emma admitted she had stopped expressing her loneliness long before she made the choices that damaged their marriage. Both recognized that the affair was Emma's responsibility. At the same time, they acknowledged that their relationship had been struggling for years before that point. Months passed. Trust once broken proved incredibly difficult to rebuild. Some wounds healed, others remained. Eventually they decided not to continue as husband and wife. Instead, they focused on becoming respectful co-parents. It wasn't the ending either of them had imagined on their wedding day, but they refused to let bitterness define the future. Daniel slowly rebuilt his confidence. He spent more quality time with Lily. He returned to hobbies he had abandoned years earlier. He learned that healing wasn't about pretending nothing had happened. It was about accepting reality and choosing not to let pain control the rest of his life. Emma also reflected deeply on her decisions. She understood that avoiding honest conversations had led to choices she would always regret. She worked to become a better parent and a more honest person. Years later, Lily grew into a thoughtful young woman. She once asked her father a question that surprised him. "Were you angry forever?" Daniel smiled gently. "No," he answered. "I was hurt for a long time, but holding on to anger would only have stolen more years from my life." "What did you learn?" Daniel looked at his daughter. "I learned that love cannot survive without honesty. Trust takes years to build, but only moments to break. And no matter how painful life becomes, kindness and dignity are always better than revenge." Lily smiled. That conversation reminded Daniel that although his marriage had ended, his greatest success had never been saving a relationship. It had been raising a daughter who understood the value of truth, respect, and integrity. Sometimes life doesn't give us the ending we expected. Sometimes people make painful mistakes. But every ending also offers a chance to begin again. The greatest victory is not proving someone else wrong. It is becoming stronger, wiser, and more compassionate because of what you survived.